Namaste, Khushro Bitia. I am JVN Dr. Sunita Bhati, Department of Science and Technology, Faculty of Education and Methodology, Jyoti Vidyapeeth University, Women's University. I am going to teach you .NET framework, and it's our first class, so I am start with introductory part. Okay, so let's start. Introduction to .NET framework. What is a .NET framework? What is the meaning of framework? So .NET is a software framework which is designed and developed by Microsoft Corporation. The first version of .NET framework was 1.0, which came in the year 2002. In easy words, we can say it is a virtual machine for compiling and executing programs written in different languages like C#, VB.NET, ASP.NET, J#.NET, F#.NET, etc. Means it is a framework which provides you a platform to compile and executing your program of different languages. The languages, there are so many languages you can use. They are from Microsoft and other also. You can use other languages also. What are the languages? It supports more than 60 languages. .NET framework supports more than 60 languages, in which 11 languages suggested by developed by Microsoft. These are, for example, C#.NET, VB.NET, C++.NET, ASP.NET, J#.NET, F#.NET, JScript.NET, Windows, PowerShell, Iron, Ruby, Iron, Python, C, Omega, ASML, etc. So these are the languages that are designed by the Microsoft Corporation, and you can use any one of these languages to develop your program or software or application. And actually, it is used to develop form-based application, WAMP-based application, and web services. Means .NET framework provides you the facility to develop form-based application, web-based application, and web services. There is a variety of programming languages. I already told you that VB.NET, C#.NET, etc. It is also used to build application, window-based application, and mobile-based application. So, what are the main components of .NET framework? I think you have a clear idea about what is the meaning of framework. So let's come to the next part, main components of .NET framework. .NET framework is divided into major two parts, that is CLR and FCL. CLR, Common Language Runtime, and FCL is Framework Class Library. CLR is the very important part of .NET framework. CLR is the basic and virtual machine component of the .NET framework. It is the runtime environment in the .NET framework that runs the codes and helps in making the development process easier by providing the various services such as removing thread management, type safety, memory management, robustness, etc. It is responsible for managing the execution of .NET programs regardless of any .NET programming language. It also helps in the management of code, as code that targets the runtime is known as the managed code, and code doesn't target to runtime is known as unmanaged code. So what you learn here, CLR basically a virtual machine in .NET framework, which is fully responsible to compile and execute programs programs in .NET framework, and you can choose any language which .NET supports, .NET framework supports. You can write code, compile codes, and execute it. So, and other than execution, it helps uh, in other ways also, like thread management, memory management, the basic and important concept, memory management and thread management. It uh, it is fully responsible for these tasks also. So you the CLR is the core part. So because it plays a vital role in executing a program and in development of the software under environment of .NET framework. So it is a core part of this framework. Now, the next and second part is framework class library, FCL. What is it? It is the collection of reusable object-oriented class libraries, and methods, etc., that can be integrated with CLR. Means it is integrated with CLR, and it is collection of, FCL is a collection of so many class libraries. There are so many classes that are based on object-oriented concept and fulfill the reusable concept also. So uh, these class libraries are also called assemblies. It is just like the header files, which we have learned in C++, and packages in the Java. The next is the history part. What is the history of .NET framework? What are the various versions in .NET framework? What are the development tools, and which platform supports these tools? So you can see in this table that first version was 1.0, and its CLR version is also 1.0, and its development tool where you can develop uh, your program or application we at Visual Studio .NET. And who supports this Visual Studio .NET? Windows environment supports. Which Windows environment? Visual Studio .NET XP, Windows XP with SP1. Now, the next version came 1.1, and its CLR version 1.1, and the development tool is Visual Studio .NET 2003. What is the meaning of this development tool, Visual Studio .NET? Actually, this is the ID that provided by Microsoft to develop your .NET application, and it is having .NET framework. So this ID, Visual Studio .NET 2003, or other versions you can install in your system if you want to do programming and .NET programming. So which Windows version supports this 2003 version? Minimum XP, SP2, SP3. Now the next is .NET version 2.0, and its CLR 2.0, and its development to Visual Studio 2005. Means first of all, the ID came was for .NET framework is Visual Studio .NET, and then later on Visual Studio .NET 2003. Then after that, Visual Studio 2005 came in market. Uh, in the market. So the next is then came .NET version 3.0, and 2. CLR version is 2.0, and expression blend, uh, it runs on Windows Vista Windows Vista platform. 3.5, 2.0, you can see all the versions. You can see all the versions and CLR versions and development tool here in this table. You can read these all the versions, and just know about the just have the idea about the various version of .NET framework. Actually, in short, what you can say that in this today's, it is all about .NET framework introduction part. And in this today's session, what you have learned what is the meaning of framework, and what are the various .NET languages, and what are the main components of .NET framework, that is CLR or FCL. And you have also learned about various versions of .NET platforms. So uh, it is all about today's session. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jayoti Vidyapeeth University, Women's University. Thank you.